Here's what I'll say.
Prince, if you don't mind, man, how old are you? Because you got like
Mhm.
you look young. I know you're 30 something, or I assume you are. How old are you?
So I said, I'm in my early 30s. And I said, no, I'm approaching my mid 30s. And she said, approaching. And I was like I said, approaching. She's like, and I'm like, mid 30s is 35. I am not 35, so I'm not in my mid 30s. So
No,
anyway,
I think 35 is the middle of the mid 30s.
that's oh, don't do
Yeah,
that. Don't do that. I am
yeah.
approaching.
I don't think so.
I'm in my 30s and approaching my mid 30s. But anyway,
Yeah.
but I will say that the substantive answer, if the old adage is true, the more you live and the more you know or encounter, the more you realize what you don't know. And
Mm,
that life is a journey. It's a walk. It's a walk. That's it. And youth would have you know everything up front, do everything right from the beginning, and then it's all going to be perfect earlier. So that you have more time, right? Life doesn't really go like that for anybody. And what I can say, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a quick story and then I'll tell you what it means to me now. The older I get, I'm proud of this moment. Interview with another judge, but it wasn't the judge. It was his three young staffers, okay? Young, like full-time clerks, okay? They were younger than me, early 20s. I mean, I swear from the cradle, I feel like they all went to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Penn, blah, blah, okay? Then went like straight to Harvard, Yale Law, okay? This pedigree central for this federal circuit judge. So the first one, contrast, judge. Second one, no judge, just clerks. One clerk is a white male, another clerk is a white woman, and another clerk is a black woman, okay? Just for aesthetic, very fair skin, very white passing, right? Okay. They interview me. They take my resume, they're asking me questions. I'm answering the questions, right, about my 1L subjects, about my resume. Then the black girl was going to ask me a question, and the white guy interrupts. He said, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Vanessa. Um, Prince, I got to be honest, your resume seems so unfocused. 1 minute you're doing this, and the next minute you're in the military, now you're in law school. It kind of looks a mess. He's like, so what do you really want to do? I said, let me tell you something, Matthew, which I think his name was actually Matthew. So let me tell you something, Matthew. I come from the hood. I'm from Philly, right? My parents are from Florida, right? I've Gullah Geechee roots, but I'm from the hood. I took advantage of the opportunities that were laid before me to learn a set of skills that I want to apply to this job for the summer. I'm not interning for a full-time career, right? I'm interning for the summer. And have any of you served in the military? Crickets. I thought so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to withdraw my application respectfully for this position, and I won't waste any more of each other's time. Take care. And I walked out. And I realized in that moment, I was so proud of myself. It's probably one of the proudest moments I've ever had because I did not let the fable of a resume and of the logic of capitalism, right? This like steady, consistent upward trajectory of increase, 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 increase. I didn't let that define me. And in the moment, to the person perpetrating it against me, I said something. Oftentimes it happens and then we like thinking about it and then we process them in groups. Nope, right now, right? You're talking to a naval officer, okay? So right now, I'm telling you right now, if you can't be quiet to survive in the military as a young black officer, right? Looking like you could be everybody's child that you serving. Okay. So I said that in real time. And the older I get, I didn't realize the depth of what I said, that it's really, we make our resumes look like a steady upward trajectory because that's what people want to see, right? And a resume is not what you did. A resume is an advertising document, right? To speak to your experience in a way to get you the job that is the target, okay? A resume is kind of irrelevant when you build your own thing, I'll tell you that. But the realest thing about entrepreneurship is that every experience, particularly the negative ones, serve me the most. That doesn't speak directly to what you're saying about building and this and that. But if I had to look back, I would say everything in my 20s was testing and trying and learning skills and seeing how things work. And that gets applied in your 30s. And don't let the Instagramification of life fool you, where your friends look like, oh my God, they're going up and up and up, and everybody's salaries increasing. Trust me, no one's going perpetually up always. We just curate our life, right, to make it look like that. That's the logic of capitalism. But that's not the reality. The reality is comparison is the thief of joy. That was something that really robbed me of joy in my early 20s in particular, okay? But my path is like no other path. And up sometimes starts down. Keep living, keep going.
I appreciate that. I did not expect the sermon, brother. Amen.
Neither did I. But when
And
I
you
hear
know,
that, I'm like, God, if I could rescue you, right? And like, hopefully just give you the thing that will like liberate you from having to learn that the hard way. All the depression that I went through, all the self-doubt, all the this, all the that. I met with one of the people, I had a working lunch this week with a really cool, successful gentleman, Black man from Arkansas. He's like, he works in 2 tech companies and he's an NFL referee, which is pretty dope. He's dope. He's a really interesting guy. And I told him, you know, how I really started Goldwater Ventures transparently was I was laid off of the job that I made the most money from last year. And I said, you know, looking back, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, and something that was like so unexpected, but probably one of the best things that ever happened to me in my professional career. And he said, it always is, isn't it? When people just realize, especially as an entrepreneur, right? When people realize that like, you're never going to be of complete service to me because you have too many skills, too many like interests that are beyond the core interests of the company, and that you're headed somewhere that they can't control, they can't stop, they can't fix, they can't alter. And so they just let you go because they know you're headed, right, somewhere anyway. It's probably the best gift that someone could give you, right, of saying that we can't control you, so go. And then you figure it out on your own. And like, we just had a moment of like, capiche, right? Where like he understood that. And the older I get, I understand that. So that's not like an answer to your question, but I will tell you, you will build, you are building. Like, you're not gonna like start building, you are building. First, you're building a reservoir of experiences of things you like and don't like, of things you're good at, you're not good at, things you want to do, you don't want to do. And then really in your 30s is when you're gonna start doing it. That doesn't mean it can't start earlier, but I think generally in terms of age of development in this society, 20s is for experimentation. If you're going to live an 89 or 100-year life, you haven't even started living yet.
Yeah,
Honest,
that's a
right?
good
Like,
point.
literally, you're in your 20s, like, please. Okay, so
That's a good point.